everyone, I'm the 5-minute reviewer. Recently, I've been asked on Quora what is the most complex video game ever made. So I give my answer as Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So for the more complete answer, I'll put the links in the description below. But for my video answer, it'll just be 5 minutes and a summary of what I wrote on Quora and on my blog. So without further ado, let us begin. Now imagine it's the year 2007 and you are Nintendo and you just introduced your new console system called Nintendo Wii. Now, you fully know that the Nintendo Wii cannot compete graphically with its competitors at that time, namely the Xbox 360 and the PS3. But what the Nintendo Wii had going for it were its motion controls. With a flick of the wrist, you could execute a tennis return, or you could hit a golf ball meters away in Wii Sports. Or if you're more into gritty stuff, you could use the motion control to control a gun or sword slash in the Ubisoft game Red Steel. Yes, this is a period of time where Ubisoft was actually cool. The problem was that early versions of the Wii motion control had an accelerator only and not a gyroscope. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this meant that only translational movement was detected, in other words up, down, left, right, forward and backwards, but rotational movement was not easily detected by the machine. This meant that you were just using the simple movement to replace a button press when you were playing the Wii. So to make it look more gimmicky than actual have full motion control as it is advertised. This meant that Wii exclusive games like Metroid Other M either limited motion controls to simple tasks like aiming, or games like The Last Story, another Wii exclusive game, chose to forego motion controls at all because the motion controls were seen as too gimmicky and more of a hindrance than a boon. Games like Metroid Prime 3 Corruption did make full use of the motion controls by using the position of the remote to the sensor bar on your screen to detect the relative position of your cursor. However, this took a lot of effort, so most developers would rather forego the use of motion controls or renegade it as a gimmick in the background. But for Nintendo, which pioneered the use of motion controls for a console, this was not good enough. They wanted motion controls to be at the forefront of their games. Thus, they worked on a Legend of Zelda project that will make full use of the motion controls and show everyone the potential for motion controls. The first upgrade to be done is the introduction of a gyroscope in the form of the Wii Motion Plus to be attached to your Wiimote. So this allowed the Wii to detect rotational movement easily, which was ideal for a game like The Legend of Zelda, where the focus was on using the sword in melee combat, and the way you hold your sword, the timing and the direction of your strikes is very important in the game Skyward Sword. Bear in mind, the Wii Motion Plus was only introduced in the year 2009 and the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword was introduced in the year 2011. So to highlight the complexity of such a task, the Skyward Sword had to include inputs from the following: 2 accelerometers from both the Wiimote and the Nunchuck, 1 gyroscope from the Wii Motion Plus, and inputs from the infrared sensor bar that came with the Wii system. I'm not even considering the button inputs that occur from the controller as you play the game. Now, this control system was so complex that even many years after the release of Skyward Sword, emulators failed to replicate the controls of Skyward Sword perfectly. The main headache was, of course, to design a system that could receive inputs from multiple motion sources and translate it into the game successfully. It was not until the year 2021, which is 10 years after the release of Skyward Sword, that the Nintendo Switch finally received a remaster for the game, and this was considered the best way to play Skyward Sword. Even though Skyward Sword is not the most graphically impressive game ever made, to me it still remains the most complex video game ever made, due to its complex control system, and of course the emulators could not perfectly emulate it until the arrival of Skyward Sword for the Nintendo Switch. Right. So I hope you enjoy my opinion piece and everyone have a nice day. So that's why to me Skyward Sword